Onions, Tosh.
Onions. There you go.
Yeah, right. Well, we got a special throwback, and one of the cool things about the Red Smith Banquet that obviously, if you're a fan of the program, you know this. We have brought in some just absolutely incredible, the people that are doing the work, announcers. We certainly have the Hall of Famers and the players and all of that have come through the years to Appleton, but we've had a really nice grouping of announcers and all the major networks, Bob Costas, Bill Raftery today, tonight, but we've had Leslie Visser and we've had Vern Lundquist on the throwbacks. And, there's a lot more that we're going to be putting out. So that's kind of cool. I always love that. I mean, anybody that's a fan of college basketball, anybody that watches college basketball has listened to Bill Raftery, has listened to Vern Lundquist. They're right there with Dick Vitale. Those three, I think the powerhouse, Bill, Brent Musburger, those guys, they're all in that same conversation. And this is a fun, it's Bill Raftery being Bill Raftery, basically, in an after dinner show.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, let's face it. Without announcers, there is not sports.
Right.
I mean, really, literally, you're just watching a game, and the announcers make it and bring it to you. And good announcers are able to do that. They make you a part of it. And
absolutely,
Rafferty, I mean, he coached 1963 to 1981, and then he went into broadcasting and was, I mean, let's face it, he is one of the premier announcers for college basketball for sure.
Yeah, 100%. There's a few guys, Al McGuire, was one, and there's been others that have been successful as coaches, but very few of them can really turn it around and be great announcers, and then couple that with just being legendary announcers. Games that, I mean, he has been a part of most of our lifetime of watching college basketball. We've heard that voice. You remind me, though, Tosh, of a story when you talk about the announcers. I think you're absolutely right. I heard somebody describe an announcer one time as an artist, as a painter. They paint the picture for you and fill in the blanks. And Raftery certainly has a little humor for that. So maybe he's partly comedian as well. But
well, one of my favorite comments of his, when guy made a nifty move, instead of leaving his jock on the floor, it was a little lingerie left on the deck. So,
well, with that, Tosh, I think, why don't we hand it over to the Red Smith Banquet throwback and Bill Raftery the night he was at the Red Smith Banquet.
Our guest speaker tonight is Bill Raftery. Bill and our Red Smith were both coaches at Seton Hall. Red is the football coach in 30 to 33, and Bill is a basketball coach 70 to 82, where he compiled a 154 to 141 record. Before that, he coached basketball and golf at Fairleigh Dickinson. Bill was an excellent athlete in his own right. In high school, was an all-state selection in basketball, soccer, and baseball. In college at LaSalle, he set a freshman scoring record with 370 points, and after his senior year was drafted by the New York Knicks. Bill is currently in his 24th season as an analyst for CBS Sports College Basketball. He is an analyst for CBS Radio Westwood One's Final Four coverage. Bill Raftery has broadcast numerous events, including the Big Ten Championship, the ACC Championship, SEC Championship, and the McDonald's High School All-Star Game. Let's bring Bill Raftery up. Bill Raftery.
Thanks, Doug. Thank you. If you do me a favor, everybody just stand, and then when you stand, just boo, so I'll feel like I'm back coaching. Just stand and relax a little bit. Todd's out here. Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's the standing ovation I got on my honeymoon, so I certainly appreciate it. Todd Kowalczyk is out here, and he was mentioned earlier, and I can't talk about coaching because he watched me coach at Seton Hall very poorly, but he can relate to this. Red Smith in 1930, I can assure you in 1981, working for the priests, we had the same salary. And things had changed a little bit. It was mentioned before that Dick Vitale, Dick was actually going to be your speaker this evening, but he didn't think the audio would project properly and didn't want to put you to sleep too early. I'm going to go through like a couple of characters because you've been here. If this were back in Jersey or New York, they'd be throwing glasses. I'd be ducking. You're the most unbelievable audience I've ever been involved with. So receptive, and rightfully so, I might add. Who's the wealthiest man in Gilbert's neighborhood? His tailor. He and his son, imagine those threads? Raoul of Bayonne would be singing. The Bennett family are an institution in America, I assure you. It's not indigenous to this great state. And while he was talking, it was easy to understand why they won. And today I shared a couple of hours with his son, and I could see he's a winner as a family man as well. He's going to be a great coach, I assure you. But I thought of, years ago I was coaching on a wintry night. In those days you went out and scouted. And the Bennett name came to mind, but I'm going to use John Wooden because this is a true story with my wife. We were speaking at that time. Things have improved. We have 4 children, so we're doing okay. But I came home, and it was an ugly evening, late at night, and I came in the house about 11 o'clock, and Joan said, would you take the garbage out? I said, come on. Do you think John Wooden, his wife Nell, makes him take the garbage out? She said, well, if you won like John Wooden, I'd take the garbage out. So they always get the last word. I went to LaSalle College down in Philadelphia, and just sharing a quick athletic moment with you because that's all I have to share with you. We played the University of Cincinnati in the Garden. And they were in the throes of back-to-back NCAA titles. Paul Hogue, Ron Bonham, Yates, Thacker, unbelievable group of kids. Any rate, on this particular play, I was hobbling, and the ball fell at the side of the court at the Garden, Madison Square Garden. They used to have wheelchairs there for the kids. And as I went over, I had taken a layup at the other end that was very unattractive. It hit everything, and finally, it didn't kiss in. It just sort of sloughed its way in. At any rate, now I run down. I'm the last one down. The ball rolls over to one of the youngsters, and I went over and I said, son, can I have the ball? And the kid picks the ball up, and he said, you're the worst basketball player I've ever seen. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen an adult kick a wheelchair, but I was a little bit close. But fortunately, I was such a bad player and such an inferior coach. As the years went on, ESPN said, look, we need a guy. In 1979, when they started, they said they needed somebody who was an active basketball coach, and they were meeting in November, and they wanted to pick somebody for after the season that they knew would not be in the NCAA tournament. And that's how I began my career. I'm going to jump to, first of all, Bo Ryan has done an unbelievable job here. And I go back with Bo. Bo's from Chester, PA, when he didn't have a suit, and the strongest guy in the neighborhood used to steal it for him. You know what he's done in state in all the divisions? Tom Crean's at Marquette, who's done a phenomenal job. It's a treasure for you to enjoy, and I know the different athletic departments certainly are. For us, the great thing about doing games is when you're my age, they don't put you on camera too often, and they don't put your win-loss record up. So they think you're a genius. And we sort of, during the course of 40 minutes, we ruined that image as well. But as the years progressed in coaching, Al McGuire became a great friend. And I just want to give you a couple of cuties. One, the former beat writer here ended up in L.A. as the sports editor. And one of his last banquets, because he said that night, this is my last banquet. He wasn't ill then, but he wasn't himself, kind of. At any rate, the story that this man shared with me, His son was a special child. He had everything you could think of that's wrong with him. And this kid had, projects, and every day, they had great attention to detail, brought him to all the special situations or institutions. Well, at any rate, Al loved the motorcycle, so he said, could I take John for a ride? So the father assumes, hey, what the heck? They have a nice little neighborhood. Well, he doesn't know that now it becomes every day the youngsters saying, where's Uncle Al? Where's Uncle Al? So every couple of weeks, Al would come around, and the kid couldn't wait for him. So finally, one night, he's driving home. He worked for the Milwaukee Journal. He's driving along the expressway. He's in the middle lane. All of a sudden, he looks. It's Al with his son on him, doing 90 miles an hour without a helmet. That's what these great guys do for kids. No. I mean, the inference is incorrect, but there's a care and a giving is my point. Now, if I were the parent, I want to kill Al, obviously. But a couple of just quickies. When he's in the hospice, Tom Crean and I went to visit him a number of times. And he had a great sense of humor. So one day, Rick Majerus, do you all know Rick? Rick's been on maybe the same diet that they went back to Kansas to give Gilbert to get back to plug the middle. No offense, but a big man. And Rick had brought in $200 of Mexican food to a man who's sick. Like, he's bright, but doesn't get it, obviously. So I show up, and Rick leaves, and now Al and I are small talk, and now it's time to leave, and we're walking down the hallway. And he said, I'm the youngest person here. And I think he was 72 or 3, right? And I said, no kidding. We get down to the little area, the recreation area, and there's an elevator there that we're going to go on to bring me down to the first floor. And in this rec area, they're in a round circle in wheelchairs, and they have a beach ball. And it's rec time. And the helper is throwing the ball up, and they would elbow it, knee it, do whatever they could, pick it up, start over. And they were music's on, they're enjoying themselves. Al looks at me, the elevator opens, he says, they think they're dancing. And we tee-heed on the elevator. Now, having said that, back when he first left Marquette, he did not want to go to the campus. He didn't want to intrude on the coach. And anybody who's coached, you feel the same way. It takes a while to get back, because you don't want people asking you something, or like he doesn't do it like you did, whatever. Just give the guy his distance. Well, I talk him into going back. Mike Dean's the coach. And if you ever been to Marquette, Mike's played a lot of games without a helmet, Mike. Quite a character, if you know. In fact, just a segue. One night I'm out with Mike. He used to wear the sunglasses. Do you remember that? And I said, Mike, why the sunglasses? He said, I went to the doctor, and he said to me, you're in too much of a stressful situation. You've got to quit coaching. So he said to the doctor, I'll wear sunglasses. I never made money like this. You think I'm going to quit now? But that's Mike Dean. Anyway, Al, we go over to the campus. And if you've been on the Marquette campus, you come in one road, you go down, and it's quartered off by buildings, one on each side and a dead end. So you've got to do a U-turn to get back out. We get down to the end, and this is the devil in Al. We get all the way down the end, take a left. It's nothing but yellow lines and signs, and we'll take your first child if you park here, and all the tow-away zone, all that stuff. So he parks the car. He's Al McGuire. I get out. He pulls right into the front door with the yellow stanchions, leaves the car. I open the door. He starts to go, and he said, oh, I forgot. He goes back to the car, reaches in, takes out a sign, puts it in the window, clergy. He's the best. He's absolutely the best. The night is long, but I'll just give you a quickie. My Seton Hall days, rather uneventful. And I'm laughing at different banquets, and some things were said tonight about, great kids, and they give everything, and bum, 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 bum. Well, I used to get up every year at the banquet, and I'd say, our kids are great, no one got in trouble, they're outstanding students, and we're 4 and 20. So this good friend of mine, every year we'd go to the banquet. You know, he was the guy that ordered the drinks that I needed after the game. He said, I'd like to come to this banquet one year, and you get up there, you say, the kids are all lousy students, they stole hubcaps, you know, but they've been in jail, but we're 25-3 and we're going to the NCAA, yes. I want to know how Tark feels, as they say. Oh. But I'll leave you with how important education was when I coached. We used to give the kids the caramel test at Seton Hall. And what we would do is we would put a kid in a room and we put a caramel with a wrapper on it. And we shut the door and we looked through the mirror. And if the kid took the wrapper off and ate it, that was one thing. But if he ate it with the wrapper, that was another. So what we did, we talked the president to this, that if he ate it with the wrapper on, we gave him an athletic scholarship. If he took it off, we gave him an academic. It fits right in. I loved our kids. You know, if you said hello to them, they were stuck for an answer, that kind of thing. I was told. Now, just to leave this beautiful night with a thought, and Gilbert said it best about parents. But as those of us who've coached know, sometimes there aren't parents home, or there's one who's trying to make a go of it, or it's an aunt or a grandmother. And that's where these programs are of invaluable assistance, where you spend a night like tonight, and I know you've got many things you could do. It's a sacrifice, but you do it because, A, there's some great people that have dedicated themselves, the coaches and players, and even these sports teams, to hear what they've been able to do. Even the racetrack has been involved, I might add, in doing so many great things. So you are part of what makes our city and our country great. And through television, I got to appreciate what goes on in this country because of traveling. And we don't think we have any impact when we start, but some people can't get out at night, whether it's the weather or they can't afford it, or that's their one luxury. But for you to come out and give to these kids, it makes this country great. We got a lot going. Let's hope something like this continues in each and every city in the country. Thank you very much. Have a great night. We look forward to having a cocktail with you later.
Please subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up, and hit that notification bell so you'll get notified when we post another great episode or interview. Download the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for your support.